we counter the pandemic with no lockdown and counter the infodemic, the disinformation crisis with no takedowns are really what some European parliamentarians who visited us called it as a gold mine. That's the world who are facing the same challenges can learn from the Taiwanese people and the social sector. And this forum provides the perfect platform for these ideas to also resonate with other democracies who are facing with pretty much the same challenges.
And what Taiwan strategies will you be promoting to the US and other big democracies? And do they need to be tailored in any way?
Well, I believe that democracies around the world are now seeing what Taiwan have seen in 2016 when we classified for the first time the investment in digital public infrastructure as public infrastructure. Prior to that, infrastructure money and budget were allocated mostly for concrete things like buildings made out of concrete. But actually, after that, we now say, no, the digital equivalent of museums, of public libraries, of town halls, of university campuses, and so on are every bit as worth investing as their concrete counterparts. For if we do not invest in the digital commons, the citizens in a democracy will be kind of forced to take their democratic conversations in the digital equivalent of the entertainment sector. And that will lead to more, I guess, polarization and a less legitimacy of democracy itself, because it will amplify the more antisocial part of democratic discourse rather than the pro-social part.
And do you see any difficulties with transferring the Taiwan strategies to a place like the US?
I think the US is now also considering digital public infrastructure, including broadband, more widespread broadband in a universal access kind of way that we proposed back in 2016. So I think we're broadly aligned on classifying digital public infrastructure as infrastructure. And we're also aligned on empowering the civil society, the social sector. After all, the Summit for Democracy includes the voices of the young people, of people who were less empowered by more traditional representative democracy.
You've spoken about increasing the bandwidth of democracy. Can you explain your concept of democracy?
Sure. So if we go to the voting booth and each person votes on one vote out of, say, 8 different parties, that's just 3 bits of information every 4 years. So not only it's very limited bandwidth-wise, it's also very long latency-wise. And my imagination of democracy is a social technology, is an applied technology that lets people share the goals in a continuous fashion, and also amplify the innovation that deliver on those goals.